Takže kterou jsem zkoušel a je dobrá, nebo aspoň začátek byl docela zajímavý, je to Overwrite.
Once upon a time, the infamous rover Reynardo plundered the floating isles. Then his mother called him to her deathbed. Reluctantly, he swore. And he whiled away his days at home with music, cards, and wine. But the Emperor... humble Toad. He built universities. Then people started whispering about mass graves in the woods, midnight rituals, victims screaming. The Imperial Ravens would round up entire villages, and no one ever returned. The Ravens had come to Ubar scouting for ancient books said to be of great power. But the librarians had hidden the books, so they'd burnt the librarians. The citizens, outraged, had driven them off. The Ravens had come back with dropships. The kid had fled with one of those books. He was brave and dumb and wanted to join the rebellion. And Reynardo had promised his mother he'd protect him.
Takže jo, jdeme hrát za bývalého piráta, který potřebuje jednu knihu, nebo který má chránit cvrčka, co má jednu zásadní knihu u sebe. To je aspoň ve začátek, bojujeme proti zlýmu, žabýmu císaři, králi, nebo co to bylo, a proti dlouhotánskému loadinku. Ale grafika je pěkná, hratelnost dobrá, klasická taková rubačka. Na odpočinek ideální.
The kid was looking down, watching his city burn.
Ne, dítě, nekoukej na to. Promiň, dítě.
Look, if we give them the book, they'll leave you alone. My mother died for this book.
Moje matka umřela pro tuhle knížku.
Oh, damn it.
Máme
The kid had run off. With the book, of course. So Reynardo had to run after him.
No, musíme, jelikož nám to dítě zdrhlo, takže my musíme běžet za ním. Tak dítě má důležitou knihu, po který jde celá armáda a mi to strašně řve. Takže, music dolů. Ažku doslumím celkově. Furt to řve. Ještě to stáhneme dolů. No, a my musíme zachránit dítě, který chrání knihu.
Which probably was what was in their tiny brains.
Hey,
Reynardo said. They cocked their heads at him. Pick on someone as ugly as you. Wait, that didn't come out right. For the Emperor! The ravens cawed and rushed at him.
Na té vy, zlí havrani. Zlí havrani. Máte to. Víc zlých havranů. OK. Counter. Jen ať máme kombíčko. A máš to. Ha, ha, ha. Havrani z kozlé. Se tahle grafika moc líbí. Moc líbí. A je výsadkový logie. Výsadkový logie. Fotořve. Takže. Když ho držím. Tak, když držím čtvereček, držím jeho. Pustím čtvereček, zahodím ho, jednoduchý. Nazdar. Nazdar. Aha, moment. Čau. Na to, že jste vrány moc lítat
Oh,
neumíte.
right. The Gate of Heroes. Someone's idea of a joke, making the skyship docks a gated community. You needed a hero's sword to open it. And the kid was on the other side of the gate.
Who let you through? Promise me you'll take the book to the rebels. Or I'm gonna steal your ship.
I'm not taking that damn book anywhere.
Tam máš
Neither
nějaký
are you.
rebelové.
Try and stop me, laughed the kid. I bet you don't even have a hero sword.
Nemáme
And
hero
with
sword.
that, the kid hopped away.
A díky odhopkalo
Had
pryč.
to hand it to the kid. He was an idiot, but he had guts. Where was Renato going to get a hero sword?
Takže sice díky je úplně idiot, ale aspoň má kulky.
Ore and
Oh.
wind essence?
Máme všechno. Look badass, to je hlavní.
A hero sword.
A máme hero sword.
QED.
Takže crafting. Jednoduchý, ale aspoň máme
This is what he got
hrdinný
for settling
smeč.
down and finding people to care about. The kid's mum had been a swell cook, and she'd laughed at Renato's jokes, even when he didn't know he'd made one. And then the ravens had come to burn her. And she'd made him promise to protect the kid. But she never told him where the book was. Just the kid.
Vůbec nevěděl, že má ochránit nějakou
He came
knihu.
up to a ledge. It was too far to jump.
Jo, tak je to králík, ten to
Bridge here
přeskočil.
before, hadn't there? And there was Peter, giggling at him. How'd you get across? He asked the kid. Where'd you find a hook? I hopped, said the kid. Wise ass kid.
Hey, look out behind you.
Cute, said Renato.
Cute.
Oh,
Ale
ravens.
havrani. Pak jste. Mám hero sword.
It was time to talk some sense into the kid. Just hook his way across the ledge and chase the kid down.
Ano,
Thing
jdem se
was,
huknout.
he hadn't used his hook since he'd retired. How had he done it? Maybe if he meditated at that altar there, he'd remember his old skills.
Pokusíme se zapamatovat staré skilly. OK. OK. Jasně. Jasně. Easy peasy.
It was starting to come back to him.
OK.
Something you never completely forgot, like how to freeze time when attacking.
Ach si
The more he
jdeš.
fought, the more he'd probably remember.
Tam má věcí. OK, potřebuji vždycky větší levely a bych se mohl učit víc věcí. Můžu ho, jak ono to bylo, trojúhelník. Já jsem rychlej, to je neuvěřitelný. Hop, hop,
And
hop.
there was the Farfarer.
Naše
She was the
lodička.
fastest ship he'd ever known. She could do the Kessel run in 12 furlongs. Well, so the salesman had told him. And something told him the kid was about to walk into an ambush.
Stop!
He
Bacha,
shouted,
dítě.
I'm not giving you the book!
shouted the kid, and took off.
No! Peter!
But the kid ran for
Bacha,
it,
dítě.
and a goggler nailed him with its eye beam.
Ne. Když je blbej. Takhle se to dělá. Malý spálený chlapče.
The book was unburned. Next to it were the buckles from the kid's shoes, and a kid-sized pile of ashes.
Tak to díky to
Damn it,
nerozchodilo
why
prostě.
hadn't he lied and told the kid he'd take the book to the rebels? The kid would be alive now. Really pissed off and betrayed, but alive. Oh, damn it.
Damn it.
Renato picked up the book. He couldn't let the Empire have it now. He was going to have to get it out of there. He'd be a wanted man. Probably have to join the rebellion just
Musí
to
se
to dock.
přidat k rebeli.
He'd hated home life anyway.
Stejně neměl rád domácí život. Nemůžu ho rozfouknout tak? Ne.
was the big deal about this book anyway?
Co to je vlastně za
Maybe he should
knížku?
open it and find out.
Kdyby otevřel a našel, například. Nebo
All that
nepřišel na
had
to.
been years ago.
To všechno bylo před
How many?
roky.
The war was a blur, and now 3 Raven scout ships were chasing him.
Where are you running, rebel?
Cawed the Raven captain over the loud hailer. Renato could see them cranking up their catapults.
Just going out for milk?
Renato yelled back.
Where can you run?
Laughed the Raven horribly. Far behind him, another city was burning. The dark cloud above its island was thousands of Imperial ships. The fleet was doing a thorough job.
Take us to the rebel base, and we'll spare your life.
It cawed. The entire jury-rigged rebel fleet was only a few islands to the east. Beyond that were only the pillars of heaven. A sea of who could bring a game changer. Maybe he could. Renato had found out where he could find the pieces of the Sky Ripper,
Legendární zbraň.
that had exiled the lost gods. Surely a legendary weapon could win the final battle. On the other hand, his old friend Lapino had sent Renato a desperate message saying he had a brilliant scheme to save the rebellion. If Renato could only rescue him.
Takže se musí vybrat.
Dived the Farfarer towards the abyss. As he felt the heat of the jet stream, the Raven ships peeled off, not stable enough to follow him down there. Now it was time to choose. Lapino or the Sky Ripper.
Pomůžeme kamarádovi, nebo uděláme zbraň? Pomůžeme kamarádovi.
Ah, Lapino. Apparently the Mad Rabbit had sold a Pegasus that he did not exactly own. Lapino always wiggled out of trouble given time, but he was out of time. The Ravens had figured out that Lapino was a rebel spy. If the fleet reached him first, they'd string him up for that. Never mind the winged horse.
Můžeme pomoct našemu kamarádovi Lapinovi, který je špek zvědu, rebelů.
Lapino had apparently managed to confuse the judge by arguing that he hadn't actually stolen a winged horse. He'd only sold it. But wait, where was the prison? The village was empty. Had everybody fled the Ravens?
A nějaká ruda. Takže tady nikdo není a všichni utekli.
If I craft a
Musíme
sword
najít
now, it's going to be
Lapina.
really short.
Můžu si vylepšit? Nemůžu. Počkej. Level 1, ten jo, tu na level 2. To je asi level. Jo, to jsou úplně nějaký jiný. Ty, jasný. No, to mám mít essence, ale nemám na to ory. Jo, můžu tam dát tak nějaký gem, jo. Mám nějaký. Asi těžko, ne? Ne, nemám. Ale to nevadí, to najdem. Furt málo, co?
It was good to practice your moves, thought Renato. Keeps you limber.
Co to je? Jo, dobrý, jezdící plošina. Ok. A, havrani. Ok. Všude jsou havrani. A to byla Kajota, kraličí vesnice, protože všude pěstují
People
mrkev.
were frightened these days. Just 2 weeks past Renato had sneaked through an empty town and listened to the Raven's call about the Emperor's new taste in ritual sacrifice.
A náš císař má novou
Renato's
oblibu.
blood was up. He just needed to smash something.
A tohle potřebuju ohnivej. Mám nějaký... Nemám skill point, co? Ne. OK. Ale tady je truhla. Tady je mrkev, ale to asi nemůžu, co? Škoda. Hero Sword. To to otevře? Jo. Větrnej mi otevře tuhle cestu. Tak se dál nedostanu. A kde mají? Kde jsou nějaký havrání? A já o vlku. Nebo o vráně a vrána za humny. Au. Jaj, dá mi bacha.
Ravens were landing everywhere.
Level číslo 2.
The advance guard. He'd better get moving. If they got to Lupino first, they'd eat him for breakfast. Or a snack. Ravens weren't picky. If they got hungry, they sometimes forgot to interrogate their prisoners. Even top spies like Lupino. Where had the mad rabbit got to?
Kde je ten bláznivý králík?
Renato felt a little better.
O, to je dobré, Renato se cítí líp. Směje ťapko. A tak tady není žádný zdraví, jo, z ničeho nic. To je teda pěkně nespravedlivý. Tady jest. Ale tady ne. Tak si to projdeme komplet. A super, a tady je truhla. Mám 21 20, tak by, budu pak muset jednou upgradeovat, co si najdu zase. Nějaký ten. No a pak kudy, jo.
Renato felt like he was ready to learn new things. And it was starting to come back to him. Something you never completely forgot. Like how to freeze time when attacking. The more he fought, the more he'd probably remember.
Jo, to jsem tady super. Se mi nabíjí? Jo. No, ještě tohle je na zemi, dobře. Dobrý, další kryt. Takže, a máš to. Yes. Dobrá, tady dobrá. To je právě hřbitov. Je to hřbitov.
Renato felt a chill run down his back. Or possibly a flea.
Už se taky nedostanu nikam, protože ten meč nemám. Myslím teda. Nemám. Hele, ruda.
Can't we just agree to disagree? Said Renato. No?
Dobrý, tak. Havráne. Mám někde za sebou, ne? Ne, to rychlý. Aj, vofous, ne, mám ho. Nebo nemám? Nemám. OK, taky kombíčka. To se mi taky líbí.
Dirty
Králík.
and bloody, Renato finally reached Lapino. The rabbit was practicing his shuffle. Renato recognized the cards. It was Lapino's favorite deck. Right, yeah, see, this guard owed me 53 ducats, so we made a deal. They're very reasonable people, actually, for weasels. Now, I got a brilliant plan to kidnap Zenobia.
We capture Zenobia, we find out what she knows. And that's the whole war right there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Kde je Zenobia?
The Emperor's greatest general,
Aha,
who also
nejlepší
happens
generál.
to be a deadly sorcerer and, oh, his only daughter? That would be worth it.
Yeah.
On the other hand, he could still get to the core of the Sky Ripper, even if he couldn't get the whole thing. It must have great power.
Jsem asi Zenobi. Okay, uneseme ji.
Zenobia wasn't just the Emperor's daughter, of course. She'd been Renato's best friend.
Ah,
in
byli lepší
swordsman
kamarádi.
school. And you're still mad for her. The rabbit reminded him. They'd been close. She'd told him things no one else knew. But she'd never told him who she really was.
She knows all the Emperor's plans, chuckled the master spy.
She won't give them up easily,
She'll tell the interrogators, all right.
said Lapino. Taking her would change the game, all right.
OK, takže zkusíme ji uníst. No ale tady mi to jako postara nepustilo dál. Tak to bylo obrovský, tak jsem to prošel jenom trošičku. Divný. No nic, no.
The city was already under Zenobia's control. I had to admire her efficiency. Renato shivered at the thought of Zenobia at the mercy of the interrogators. Could he really turn her over to them? But this was war. It wasn't meant to be pretty.
Já mám zase někam odveze, to je jedno. Jo. Havraní spí, nebo jsou mrtví králíci. Pojď se na zpátek. Nemůžu. Oj.
Hero wall. Hero sword. Ice wall. Ice cube.
Ice Cube. Já nemám ten ledový ten. A je vokoun. Stealthové hramy, jo. OK.
Renato hated gogglers. It freaked him out to cut them.
Ups, jde zpátky. Ne, okolo, OK. S Bohem. Čištíno. Hajzlíci. A jdeme dál. Ups. OK. Takže. Jeden. Druhý. A to jsem trošku... Nepovedlo se mi. Au. Nesmím se nechat mosteka mlátit od havranu. Králík.
So, what's this plan of yours?
Use me as bait, said Lapino. And he outlined a slightly complicated plan that involved geese, a net, setting the Farfarer a little bit on fire, Lapino dressing as an old blind toad, and Renato hiding inside a monstrous watermelon. What could possibly go wrong? Thought Renato.
Tak jo.
Oh, this is gonna be fun, said Lapino as he
Souhlasím s
ran to
ním.
go set up his marvelous plan.
OK, hele, tady je vylepšováníčko. Já furt nemůžu, jo. Void Blade, Winterform, no. A. To podle mě asi na druhý průchod, ne, to jo, protože... A aspoň se můžu dát level. Zkusím tohle.
He
Well,
missed
I'm
his
aware.
old skills. He welcomed them back like it was at a reunion.
Au. Já jsem hloupák. Start from checkpoint. Už mám nový skill. Jo. A pak jde. Tak mám blokovat dva najednou, to je... A byl dobrý fight. Melon? Jo.
Renato felt dubious about the whole plan. With every step, he was waiting for it all to go horribly wrong.
Asi
But against
jo.
all odds, Peppino's idiotic plan worked. Zenobia's ravens ran off after the geese, the net dropped, and Renato jumped out of the watermelon and put his sword to Zenobia's throat.
A to vyšlo.
She said. Are those new scars?
They look good on you.
You never returned my velvet jacket. It was my favorite.
You look stupid in velvet.
Oh, what does an imperial princess know about style?
Oh, get a room, you two, said Lapino. But the fleet was coming on fast, so they put Zenobia on the Farfarer and took her east over the Nexus.
Takže jsme
She'd
to
vanished
udělali.
from Swordfu School, from his life, without even saying goodbye, without ever telling him she was the Emperor's adopted
Jo,
daughter.
neadoptovaná, tak to jo,
Ah,
protože...
Lapino was right, Renato thought reluctantly. She knows things. She recognized his look. You're taking me to the interrogators, aren't you? She said, wide-eyed.
Ano,
And
jdeme
then she
kvězídat.
jumped with horror. Renato saw Zenobia plummeting. Then he saw the Nexus below them. Cats always land on their feet. Ah, she'll head for the Imperial outpost, yelled Lapino. You have to catch her.
Jo, chytíme ji. Pokusíme se ji chytit. Je to dobrý, jaký malý, ti malý arenky. Tak možná na 2, na 3 průchody. Taky mě to baví, taky musím říct, že dobrý. Mám tu možná půl hoďky pro dnešek a finitoš.
Cats can run faster, but foxes can run longer. If he ran, he could head her off before she reached her minions at the outpost. Well, he did love a good chase.
A nemám nový level, viď?
He wasn't that good.
Ne.
Yet.
Co spadnout? A já jsem se nemohl spadnout. Je, krystal, nějaký krystalky tady. Děkuju. Se vždycky hodí. Potřebuji ještě jednu rudu.
Rather hoped his mother wasn't watching.
Počkej. Kudy, nahoru nebo dolů? No. Zkusíme to nahoru teda, no. Oj. A, snad jdu. Jak normálně. Tak se že mi do toho nepasuje, ne, pasuje do toho meč, dobrý. Stejně mi chybí jedna ruda na level 2. Co to je? Ok, zpomalovač, ne? Aha. Dám do mě, nebudeš řezat. Je, jak mi zrušil tak hezký kombo. Už tak, no. Co to bylo? To jsem a proč jsem tady? Okay.
He was closing on her. He could smell her fear. He tried not to think about the interrogators at the secret base.
Oh, what
What
essence.
they do to her. Maybe it didn't have to end that way. Maybe he could talk to her. But after all, there were worse things the Imperials had done to friends of his.
Okay. Jsme na ne.
A
Jsme na
crafting bench.
začátku.
Renato wondered what he could make with it.
Já přemýšlím. Protože na tenhle mi stejně chybí esence. Takže to upgradenu. Oh, ok. R2 Magic Sword. Ok. Aha, on léčí. Kač? Boží.
Sometimes, at home, he'd wave his sword around for hours.
A dobrý, já jsem se takový zasek v... Mám dostat? Se nedá, co? No tam chci. Hop, ne. Nebude, dobře. Není to Dishonored. Dám ti na pytel jako nikdo. Ještě někdo jde? OK, nějaký.
Bernardo reached the outpost. The Imperials there were no match for him.
Aha.
Soon after, Zenobia limped up the path. When she realized he was already in front of her, she didn't even try to run.
Nechtěl
Oh,
utíct
you
to.
left without saying goodbye. Again, he said, please. You're enjoying this a little too much. She said, shaken. Oh, spare us the chit-chat, would you? Said Lapino as he shackled her hands so she couldn't throw spells. She knows all his plans. All the way back to the Farfarer, Lapino nagged Renato about how the interrogators would pry all the intel out of Zenobia. How that would turn the tides in the imminent battle. All they had to do was take her to the rebels' secret base. Renato didn't like to think about what the interrogators would do to her.
Zkusíme ji ukecat, nebudeme ji mučit. Jo.
As they pulled away from the Nexus, Renato could see the fear in Zenobia's eyes. I can't take her to those creatures at the base, he whispered to Lapino. Ah, you've gone soft. Soft in the head. We captured her for what she knows. I'll take her to the mountains. Tell all the horrible things the Emperor's done. Yeah, believe me. She'll turn.
Jasně.
And he turned the wheel. The hell you will! Shouted Lapino, and he grabbed the wheel back from him. The two of them wrestled for control of the ship. It shot off like a mad sparrow. Suddenly, Renato was falling.
Vypadli jsme z vlastní logy, to je super. Jo, a jenom chvilinku přestávka.
When he came to, Zenobia was standing over him. Why didn't you take me to the base to be interrogated? She demanded. Do you know what's left of people they interrogate? This is some trick, isn't it? To make me fall for you again. Well, I won't. Oh, go on then. Scurry back to your ravens. I can't stop you. But strangely, she didn't. As Renato set off to find the Farfarer, she followed him, keeping just out of sight of the ravens.
OK. Teďka nejde s náma teda. Tady toho nic moc nevylepším.
Who needed bridges anyway?
Cool. Jdeme třeba tudy. Vidíme, co najdem. Havránky. Dobrý. No, tak jsem šel jednou aspoň taky dobrou cestou, že bych něco našel. No, nic moc. A lepší než drátem do oka. Jde zpátky. Půjdeme tudy. Vyřešený. A je to. To další perfekty. Když najdu tu energie, jídlo. Mám 2 perfekty, takže to snad ani nepotřebuji. A teleport. Ne, není telefon. Ale telefon, teleport. To je vejtah. Píči. Se nedostanu tudy, ano. A můj Hero Sword to funguje. Ale co je to tok? To je to tep? Ne. Pak seš.
Renata felt ready to become faster, stronger, bolder. If only he could figure out which.
Abych potřeboval najít nějaký ten sloup. A to je taky dobrý, pekínka. Tutup. Kouzelníci poblázněný, jo. Nevím, jsem to perfektní, jo, tentokrát.
As Renato stopped to sniff the wind, Zenobia came up, still mad.
Naštvaná.
Really think you just talked me into betraying my father? Oh yeah, sure, that was exactly my plan. Then why aren't you even talking to me? Because I've never talked you into anything in my life. They're gonna court-martial you for letting me go. He caught a whiff of the Farfarer. Wet rope, tar, and a cask of Scobel ale he'd spilt last year. It was that way.
Teď jsem v pohodě. Nějaký oure. Ne. Takže jdeme dál. Kam to až veze? Wow. Takový pocit, že přeskakujeme strašně lokací.
Calaveras really didn't want company, did he?
A, ne. A jenom zahřívadlo.
Wondered if he should have taken Zenobia to the rebel base for real. Maybe she wasn't playing him after all. After the bleak talk about the Emperor's dark secrets, he was regretting his suspicions.
Je, loď.
Sure enough, the Farfarer had crashed in some rocks. There was no sign of Lupino. Zenobia
Králík
caught up.
bláznivý.
All that kid stuff in Swordfu School. Look, look, that's the past. We're adults now. We have duties to other people. We have destinies. What are you talking about? And you are the most arrogant, slow-witted, light-fingered, mercenary, immoral, reckless. Run away with me, said Renato, and he realized he meant it. Just like that, she demanded. I will, if you will. So she kissed him. And it was the best kiss he'd ever had. They held hands as they boarded the Farfarer. Renato felt light-hearted, like the winds that were playing the rigging like a balalaika. I need to get back to Lupino, he said, suddenly realizing he could have been captured. A prisoner. He's not. How'd you know? He saw something in her eyes he didn't understand. He fell, didn't he?
Into the abyss.
She looked away. Wouldn't answer.
Then a bolt smashed through the Farfarer's keel. The broken ship plummeted out of the clouds.
Co pak napadla nás nějaká cizí loď? Jsem sige. Proboha. Proč bude mít lišák vztah s kočkou? Liška je psovitá šelma. To nejde. To je zakázaná láska.
Renato picked himself off the deck. They were alive.
Oh, přišli jsme.
have to get to my private ship, she said. Do you trust me?
Věříš mi?
I guess
Ne.
I must, he said. You go on ahead. Clear the path, she said. I can't kill my own soldiers.
He wanted to say that he didn't trust her, that he had no idea what he was getting into. But he had no choice.
Mám
did he?
nějaký? Nemám co.
He was following his heart.
That's what it means to be a hero. You had to follow your heart.
Aha, už to stejně víc nevyženu. Dobrý, no. Takže můžu jako hledat esence a doufat, jo. Aspoň jako to nemusím řešit na druhou stranu. A tohle je teleport. No, já jsem si už nezvedal level ani nepamatuju. Protože jsem neměl kde. To byl havraní, to byl havraní. Co je tohle za ten? To není můj, že ne? To je ten... Jo. Dobrá, tady. Tamhle. Máme to určitě. Ne, dobře, mi to teleportovalo. Díky. Mám dva bugíky, co je tohle? Aha.
Haven't you always wanted to do that?
Ale se uděláme. To je zajímavý. Aha. Haha. Ale bych potřeboval nějaký ty esence, ale...
He wished there were more pylons he could use the hook on. They really needed to construct additional pylons.
O, pojďte uči. Ne, jak to? Za co? Jak to? Jak jsem byl... Asi dělá to kouzlo, dělá strašný. Strašný mas. Ne, já jsem zraněný, já. Byl jsem asi. Znova lépe teda. Škoda. To vůbec nebylo blbý teda. Dobrý. Ještě se nemůžu vylečit? Ne. Ojde. Tyjo, tak jsem si říkám, co to bylo, tyjo. Ale jsme jenom nenačetli textury. Uhní vlajko.
There had to be something useful in these things, didn't there?
Že jo? Léčení. A už tam jsme skoro vylečený. To je nějaká ta jejich flotila, ne? Jo, jasný.
With materials like this, he could probably make a really nice pair of barbecue tongs. Or even a sword.
Barbecue, no, klešíč na barbecue určitě, ale bych radši ten jako lepší meč, ale na to stejně nemám jako toho dost. Tohle se mi hodí. Tohle se mi hodí. Teleport je vždycky dobrý. Aha, kolik to je kucí. Vždycky nevidím to. Au, ale oni fakt dávají dostat damage, jo. Člověka dvakrát, jo. Mouchnou a je... Tam nechtěl být teda. to mám špatný. Jsem ještě nebyl, že ne? Tak musím tady, jo. Ale něco dělej. Dobrý.
New powers, ready to blossom within him, or something.
Jo, tak si uděláme plnej ten. Heal. Aha, a jdeme níž. OK. Já můžu.
I should really look for another line of work, he thought. And
Then
then
he
he died.
died. OK, to se mi nepovedlo, ano, uznávám. To je bylo dobrý. A tady jsou ty. Já koukám na to kouzelníka a nedávám bacha na ty blbý vrány, který teda mi vrhají jedna za druhou. Perfekt. Oh yeah. Heal, aspoň trošku. Zničím vlastní logě, ne?
They paused to catch their breath. It was strange to be so close to her. What are you thinking? He asked. I'm trying very hard not to think.
Nevím se
Me too,
nemyslet.
he said. Up ahead, he could see the thin silver of Zenobia's personal ship. It looked fast. They would leave all this behind.
Já se musím dostat, ne, nejdřív. Že jo, ale já tady vemu tuhle truhlu. Co dalšího? Energie, kterou hnedka využiji k vyléčení. A budu skákat po těchto logičkách. Je voilà. Voilà. A pojďte kucí. Hezky. To mi dokonce i povedlo, jeden z těch bojů. Trošku doléčíme, zbytek energie si necháme.
Truth was, Renata really
Dobrý.
liked the sound his sword made in the air.
Super, jak ten vypraveč furt komentuje. Proč se co děje. Moc pěkný komenty. Tak, pojďte kuci. A mak, do mága prvního. Imperfect. A co dobrý, bylo další 2 levely aspoň.
Don't look down, he told himself. Don't look down.
Ojo, au. Radši. Což bychom měli být na té stříbrné lodi Zenobíny, ale člověk nikdy neví. Mohl jsem na tu velkou asi těžko, co? Na vlajkovku. To je tady osobní lok, ne? Ne. On má štít. Tak já budu vždycky počkat na protiútok, co? Jo. Aha. Třeba nějakou jinou vránu. Dostal jsem nějaký normální na uklidnění, než mi došel. Takže se mi povedlo grebnout a hodit na správné místo. Jsem ho chytnul. Dejte mi nějakou jinou ránu. Umři. To bylo jen tak.
As they reached her ship, Renato suddenly felt a sharp pain in his stomach. He was surprised to see a crossbow bolt sticking out of it. I was going to lead the Empire to a secret base, said Lapino. But no, you had to screw up my plan because you've still got a thing for her. Renato stared at Zenobia. A kiss. Was it real? She said, with a look of indescribable sorrow.
Ne,
She
oni nás
gestured and said an arcane word, and
zranili.
Lapino went flying into the abyss, screaming, I'm telling your father! Then she knelt down to cradle his head, and her paws felt very soft and warm. Okay, that was weird. He could have sworn he just died. Instead, he was on the Farfarer, sailing away from Ubar. And it was still burning. He'd fled burning Ubar years ago, hadn't he? And now he was back there. Had all those years fighting the Empire been nothing but a vision into the future?
Jenom vize?
A useful vision if it was true. He'd learned something. Lapino was a traitor. Renato had suspected there was something wrong with the mad rabbit. But now he knew there was malice behind his goofiness.
Jo, takhle ono to funguje. Aha! Jo, takhle to funguje. Tak to se mi líbí. Tam se mi nejbí, že nemůžu scrollovat ten příběh, dobře, už můžu. Zajímavý.
He'd made bad choices. But now, when the real battle came, he wouldn't make those choices. He wouldn't make the same mistake twice. The book's pages began to flip backwards, towards the beginning. And he realized that his adventure was just beginning.
Jo.
The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble.
Jo, to je ta kniha,
Ravens were
jasný.
scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer.
Takže jdeš pro ten
Pieces of
meč?
the Sky
Jo.
River had surfaced, or so a scholar in the mountains had told him. Surely the weapon that banished the lost gods could defeat the Emperor. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert.
No.
The Emperor had brought the Sky Ripper pieces up out of ancient burial by his obscene rituals. Could this be where the Iblis stone was hidden?
Jo, takhle.
Someone better get it before he does.
Ne,
thought
tak
Renato.
udělám ten
And also,
Sky Reaper.
his old friend Lapino needed rescuing.
Já to můžu
Of
znova.
course, Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Renato really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
Ok, ještě ne, protože já teď nemám ten meč vylepšený.
The transcendent emperor had buried its pieces. What could have brought them to light? This emperor, Isengrim III, had once been kind, but he'd gone mad. And now he was conducting secret, obscene rituals to bring back the lost gods. Had he somehow summoned the long-lost components of the legendary weapon
Dám si
to the
ještě
deep places of
chvilinku
the earth?
a
Was more than Renata
příště.
could fathom. But if he could find a legendary weapon, he would use it.
Protože na ten ohnivý jich potřebuji víc, myslím.
As he set foot on the island, Renato couldn't help feeling a bit curious. Was Lapino still waiting to be rescued? No. He was probably drinking champagne.
Jo, on vlastně už ví, že on je zrádce, jasný.
Ravens drink champagne. Did rabbits? Renato felt oddly thirsty, come to think of it.
Why had he chosen the Sky Ripper? Renardo never made plans that required constant vigilance. He was a hero. He didn't think Ripper was a long shot. He'd have to devote himself to it. No side journeys, no rescuing old friends. That was against his nature. Could he stick with it?
Zajímavý.
I wonder what I could make with all these sword crafting materials, thought Renardo.
Já se pak zkusím vrátit do toho příběhu. To je zajímavý, jdu tuhle pravdu a zkusím se pak vrátit k těm původním, protože začíná být docela takový ujetý až. A já jdu do té vody se podívat. Aha, craftingový stůl. Já si ohnivák. A můžu.
This burning sword from the south was terrific for barbecuing sausages and ravens.
Cool. Já se můžu přepínat, že jo, jasný. Co to je? Když se podívám nahoru, zpátky nahoru. Právě proto bych se chtěl vrátit do těch původních kapitol, protože si pak člověk otevře úplně jiný trasy. A to jsem nemusel tak daleko naštěstí. Teoreticky, kdyby tam šel podrýt, tak mě nezabije. To už vím, že mě zradí. Zajímavý.
What was really fun was hooking yourself onto a moving ship.
Dej mi víc materiálu, pak někam transportuj, ať můžu pokračovat dál. A je, očičkání. Eye of the Beholder. Na. Oj. Tady to není. A já se s dovolením vyléčím. Přepnu si ohniváka, už ho mám. Jdu zkusit tu ryma. A tady mi chybí ten Void, který byl strašně drahý, co jsem chápal. Jsem koukal teda. Tak ten se otočí. Ten se otočí teďka. A se schovám do výklenků. Doufám. Jo. A vypnul jsem ho.
Who had built this castle? Did they even know what monstrous weapon lay hidden within their walls? The Sky Ripper could destroy anything it touched, or so the legend said. As the Transcendent Emperor had fought the Lost Gods, thousands had died. But Renato had been through wars. The only merciful war was a short one.
Dobrý, dobrý. A teďka. Mám dva. Jo, a můžu mít. Ale... Můžu vskrz. Ne, já jdu pokračovat v tomhle.
Come in handy in a pinch.
Tady chci tohle a chci i tohle. Ale skočím tam jak? Byl jsem se, že má nějaký blesk. Musí ohniváka a jde pokračuju dál. To je ledovej, to nemám tak ani tak. O, pojďte kuci. A sakra. Hajzlíku. A tak ještě ty. Ještě toho nebylo. Hezky pěkně. Cool. Počkej. Ej, dostávám energii, ale je mi to k ničemu.
Hey. Hey. I'm a Firefox, thought Renato.
Firefox. Kým nepotřebuji, kým se dáváme bez těch speciálních abilit. Musím, a já budu používat ten normož taky. To mám spíš jako klíč, ten ohnivej. Sakra. Moment. Jsi dobrý, ne? Jo. Ten dash je na ně dobrý, tyjo. A dokola za váma, kucí. To asi XP nedostávám, co za tyhle, tyjo. Vypadá to, že ne. Mrknul jsi. Taková schovka. A v pohodě, dva jsem zabil a pak jsem chodil za nima a rozsypal jsem je. A je. Jsem to... Nepovedlo se mi to! Vůbec se mi to nepovedlo. Tak tohle koním. Dobrý. Nebylo to perfekt, teda ani náhodou, ale... Už mám, myslím, že ten víc života mám pak jako další fázi.
A puzzle.
Aha, puzzle, super.
Except when he couldn't figure them out. On the other hand, if there was a puzzle, it was probably meant to keep people away from something good.
Nevím, jestli puzzle, ale mi tady teda ohnivý meč otvírá cestu sem.
Time to die.
Ach jo.
And it was.
Ježiš, a puzzle, no. Dobrý, ale já jdu k tomu ohnivému meči. Tam se otevřu a pokusím se tam dostat. Kuci. Tak je to tady, dobrý. Už se mi to povedlo, jo, já ho zakopl vlastně na něco, super. Tak vlastně já mu dám i dymičky, že ho odrážím, viď. No konečně. Uf.
All coming back to him.
Yes.
He wondered what he'd remember next.
Taky mě zajímá, co si na to si vzpomenu příště. O, ledovka. A mám nějaký nový jewel. To jo, to ne, že musím najít ten, kde to můžu jako
That
použít,
had
ale...
been his mistake before, trusting his old friend Lapino, who had been through so many battles with him and shed so many heartaches, who he'd rescued so many times. What was up with that guy anyway?
Už si vzpomíná. Ale to vypadá, že nemusím řešit ten puzzle, protože jsem měl ten ohnivý meč, což by bylo výborný. A mám víc života.
There it was. Skyripper's armature. The stuff that dreams are made of. Engineers' dreams, anyway. The device was intricate. No one alive had the skill to make a thing like it. How was it part of a weapon at all?
A dobrý, tak do desíti, ještě 10 minut.
But first, he'd get the second piece. Skyripper had a heart. A core that had come to rest on the next island. Well, there was another island he could reach. Zenobia had just invaded it with her father's Raven battalions. She must be encamped there still.
Tak já tam...
But fighting Zenobia now, that made no sense at all. He'd already sacrificed one friend to get this armature, was it? He didn't need to hurry to face her. She would find him.
No. Já to... Jsou ty příběhy, no, ale... Já to... Zkusím se tam za ní vrátit.
Renato asked himself why he changed course to confront Zenobia. He'd no idea. Sometimes he would just do things and he could never figure out why he'd done them. Usually, they worked out. After all, he was a hero.
Taky pokusíme, uvidíme, jestli se něco změní, nebo se mi podaří otevřít jiné cesty. Chci vyzkoušet, jak to přesně funguje.
The truth is, though, he wanted to see her, wasn't it? It had been a dozen years since Swordfu School. He'd followed every rumor about her, every scrap of news. Not that he still loved her. After all, she was his enemy. No, it was solely because know your enemy. But it would be great to see her. Even if they faced off across sword points, as they'd done so many times at school. The world was a less interesting place without her.
Mě trošičku změnu, když vím, že on byl zrádce, že jsem mu nepomáhal, ale to neznamená, že jí nemůžu pomoct. Teoreticky. Hlavně to je to město, to vím, kde jsem. A tady se určitě nějaká ohnivá brána najde. Tu za mnou lítá nějaký to divný kolo, ale...
This was the nice part of town, but the Ravens had been through here.
They like to take shiny things home to their nests.
O! Wind a water. O, wind nepotřebuju, ale water se hodí. Perfect. Právě znamená, jestli ten příběh pak bude vyvíjet různě jinak, nebo můžu... Podle mě vždycky můžu začít od začátku na konci příběhu. A různě to mixovat, což by bylo úplně super.
Think of all the artisans he was creating employment for. Truly, he was a job creator.
He was a job creator. Jasně, když to všechno rozbiju, tak to někdo musí znovu vyrobit. Ukaž. Už mám max, tady mi chybí další a or mi chybí 3, no, ale tam už na tom jako makám, na tom zmrzlým. Ale díky. A, dobrý, to se mi líbí. Shield breaker. Ale tady se mi líbí tohle.
Firewalls only let you through if they think you're hot enough.
A jsem. Právě, že už jsem hot enough. Co to je? Au. A, level 2. Já, ono mi to dobrý, ono mi to automaticky leveluje. Tak to jo. Tak to v pořádku potom. A další ruda. To je potom 50 nebo? No to bylo 30. Se podívám na level 2 toho ohnivýho. Dobře.
Zenobia was leading the Imperial Ravens here. She loved to be in the vanguard, where the danger was, where she needed her wits. Renato pitied whoever she was fighting, especially if it was him.
Okay. To jsem minule nešel, ale proč ne? Já mám tady to králíka, takže... Vlastně jasný, když nepoužíváme ten jeho trik, tak my nemůžeme hitnout.
Two eyes good. One eye dead.
A? Bráskovka. Jupí. A novej. Nechci critical, ale jo. Musím nasadit, ale to byla dobrá schovka.
Renato wasn't entirely sure how he was going to capture Zenobia. She'd be expecting him. And he didn't have Lapino to cook up a clever plan. Why was it again that he hadn't got the core?
Jasný. No, jaký nový level? Ne. Škoda. Já vám dám šmejdi havraní. Škoda. A jak se to povedlo? Jo, tady bychom ji nachytli. Díky tomu frajerovi. Králičímu. To musíme zkusit jinak.
sound at all. Where were her guards? Finally, he reached her bedroom. She was curled up on her bed. Oh, he'd forgotten how beautiful she was. How sleek. How soft. He tapped her on the shoulder with his sword. She vanished. And he suddenly noticed he couldn't move except his mouth. In fact, soon he couldn't keep his mouth shut. He told Zenobia everything. Sky Ripper, the rebellion plans, even where the secret rebel base was, until he was hoarse. It was some kind of truth spell. A talky truth spell. She called her father by Farspeaker Toad and filled His Majesty in. Why didn't he get the core? Croaked the Farspeaker in something like His Majesty's croak. Because I missed you, darling. Renato grinned. He doesn't even know why, frowned Zenobia. That makes no sense. It's a trap, shouted the Emperor. I'll meet you at the outpost, and I'll bring my interrogators. If Renato came face to face with the Emperor, maybe he could assassinate him. But maybe it would be smarter and safer to turn Zenobia against her father.
Zkusím ho zabít my.
You're lying, she said. Somehow you're lying.
Nelju.
The spell hadn't worn off yet. He had to tell the truth. The trick was in making sure she wouldn't believe it. The core is perfectly safe, he said. And he tried his hardest to sound sincere. In fact, I almost went to get it myself. Fine then, interrogators it is, she said angrily. I gave you a chance. The Emperor's interrogators were not especially gentle, even by Weasel standards. Fortunately, Zenobia had locked him in the guest quarters on her ship, and she'd forgotten it had a toilet that, like all skyship toilets, could be vented into the abyss. This was not the sort of slippery fox he wanted to be. But just as they were about to land, he threw the latch, wrinkled his nose, and leapt through the open latrine.
Unik přes záchod, super.
It was a short, safe landing. At least this part of the Nexus hadn't changed too much. Zenobia had been taking him to the Imperial outpost. She'd never expect him to go there by himself. Well, maybe she would. You never knew with her.
Pokusíme se zabít starého šabáka.
Exactly. Parking meters from the time of the lost gods?
Díky. Další vortex. To je vent, škoda. To se nedostanu. Boom. Jak to? Počkej, ne jo. Sucker Blue. Waffles, tak mě zatrnulo. Počkej, jdu na druhou.
Bernardo knew Zenobia, and Zenobia knew him. She'd suspected a trick. Now he'd vanished. She would probably guess that was his plan all along. Perfect. Maybe she wouldn't use the Sky Ripper. At least not without taking it to the scientists at the observatory first. Meanwhile, the Emperor would be coming to the outpost personally. This could be good.
Další wind, co? Bych to mohl aspoň někde prodat, tu větrnou esenci.
Good thing Renato didn't have vertigo.
Já si nic moc nemyslím, co? Ne. Tady mi chybí jeden. A tady mi chybí jeden tenhle. Přemýšlím, že stejně asi.
Renato checked to make sure his sword was still working. Yep.
Jo, zase tady, dobrý. Přemýšlím, jestli to dát na vyšší level, nebo to spíš nechám potom na ty. Co to je zas? Explozivní, jo. Aha. Nevidím. Dobrý, spokojenost, snad. Pak seš, pane Žabax. Dobře, ne? Jo. Ale je. Že by osobní garda, jo.
Renato was face to face with the Emperor's bodyguard. They looked very tough, but the Emperor held them back. Oh, where's my daughter? And how did I know that? Renato grinned at him.
She lured me here so that you could kill me, didn't she?
Ah, don't be ridiculous, said Renato, trying his best to sound convincing. She loves you.
Oh, I knew it. The rabbit told me I couldn't trust her.
The Emperor hopped out the door. His phalanx of bodyguards retreated carefully. Renato heard someone call, "Arrest her!" as they left. Well, that's a job well done, thought Renato. Now the fleet will be in all sorts of disarray.
A tak se musím zase
He could
rozhodnout,
find her
co?
in the mountains. She always used to go to the mountains to hide from the world. Maybe he could even turn her against her father.
Or
Maybe he could reap the benefits of the chaos he had sown. It was time to report to the Rebel Council, and then launch the attack on a divided and very confused Imperial fleet.
ne, pokračujeme. Tady.
Renato felt very clever indeed. He'd told the Empire nothing but the truth, and now they suspected everything and everyone. So, why are you going to see Zenobia? He asked himself. It's not just a gloat, is it? No, of course not. Now, turning her against her father was good. It was very good. If she would actually join the rebels, that
Tak
would be
uvidíme.
spectacular.
Vracíme se k tomu prvnímu
That
příběhu.
was definitely what he was doing.
I když mu tam ten králík někde bude, se mi zabije určitě nakonec. Ale snad se tam dozvíme nějaký další pravdy, nějaký další rozuzlení. Což by bylo fajn. Chci to dojet zase do konce aspoň a pak už ten konec, který už si
He
říkám celou
wondered if
dobu.
he should have just told her the truth about her father. The Emperor had adopted her from a stray. That was the source of all her loyalty. But even then, he'd been dreaming of a bargain with the lost gods. They alone could make him immortal. The Emperor would have to seal that bargain with the life of someone who truly loved him. And who else truly loved the Emperor? But how could Renato tell her that now? Why would she ever believe him? Hoped his hook didn't break.
No jo, jupí. Tak už jenom vozejček a můžu si udělat ledový meč.
There were stickers all over the platform for really hot lady foxes, with pictures and addresses and everything.
To byl dobrý fight.
The funny thing was, she should have trusted him. He told her the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Oh, all right. The truth was, he'd played her like a fiddle. And how often had he ever done that? She was so smart. Smarter than him, really.
Jo, říkal jenom pravdu, ale Kimši se všechno stalo, jak to chtěl. OK. Dobrý boj, taky povedený. Tamhle jsou, ale to jsou furt jenom fialový dveře. Fialový krystalky mi nepadají, takže tak jo. Zatím.
Long live the Emperor! Called the ravens.
Já jsem blbej. To byl velký erůrek tohle, jsem to když ještě po druhý. Dobrý. Long live the Emperor! Jup. Energy, jo. Energy neboli heal. Dobrý. Dobře, hnedka u kouzelníka a ten dostane úplně nejdřív potřeba by dostal, dobrý. To bylo dobrý. No, to byl dobrý fight tohle. Ten se mi líbil. Kudy tudy? Moje, tudy? Asi jo? Já si myslím, že půjdu zničit. Pokračujeme. Takže já vím, že tady jsem se nemohl vůbec healovat, expovat nic. Pomozejček by tady mohl být teda.
It wasn't his fault. He looked so
Breakable. Máme tam energie, o tom jde. O heal. Dobrý, šup, energie, můžeme zase masky dál. A tada. La. To je ledovej, no, ledovej neotevřu, protože na to nemám ten meč, který už si můžu udělat, ale nemám kdy. Já jsem nebyl předtím.
Most people still use doorknobs.
Vodu. nějak dostat? Nemůžu.
Renato had given away the location of the secret base. Fortunately, the Emperor thought it was all a trap. He even mistrusted his own daughter. Renato couldn't have done better if he'd planned it.
Ale super. Přidáme si zdravíčko. Pimp. A tady je ceruška.
What have you done to me? Zenobia demanded. My own father thinks I'm a traitor. So? But I'm loyal. So what? You're a bastard, Renato, she said. Now, you love that about me. You really did want the core, didn't you? And the Iblis stone. Yep. He gloated. You get all that? She said to the far speaker Toad he'd failed to spot.
I am so relieved, my daughter.
Said the far speaker. And Zenobia got into her ship and flew off. Damn it. The old far speaker trick. How had he missed it? This was very bad. Zenobia back in her father's good graces, and both of them ready to use the core and the Iblis stone. He got back on the Farfarer. Briefly, Renato thought of fleeing. The odds were surely against him. Never tell me the odds, he told himself. Odds confused him. He preferred to trust his gut. And so he sailed on to attack the fleet. Alone, if necessary.
Aha. To by měl být poslední, protože nemá na výběr. Ach jo, ach jo, ach jo. Takže tady touhle verzi, pokud ji se do mě nezamiluje, pokud ji se nesnažím vytáhnout, zachránit.
There were not many rebels here, and they were disorganized. The Empire had obviously attacked the secret base. The formerly secret base, whose location Renato had so helpfully pinpointed on a map. There was still time to turn around, wasn't there? But Renato hated turning around. Heroes don't turn around, they just own their screw-ups and turn them into impossible victories, right?
To určitě nepůjde, se umřu a budu to muset zkusit jinak. Já nedostanu, protože na to nemám skill. Můj meč. Tady jsem viděl nějakou truhlícu. A nechci ten wind.
That was always a rush.
A nebo to je wind. Dobrý kombičko, to bylo fajn. Jo, jsme se tady viděli.
Smashing things was fun.
Že jo. Já tady ty meče vlastně nebudu potřebovat, protože tady nejsou brány. Ani tohle rozbět nepotřebuju, může dál. Hop. A jo, uděláme hop. Jedeme dál. Wow, zase jsem.
Do you guys ever wonder why the Imperial Ravens are always firing?
takový buzný. Au.
He was in a swirl.
Další.
Newly remembered knowledge. He needed to focus.
Ale asi rychlejší běh, ten si teďka nebudu brát. Podívám se, co mám v týru 2, až to půjde. Jsme si díky, možná si otevřu, máme i tier 3, ne?
No one could beat Renato at hot potato.
Umři, umři, tlustá havran. Dobrý. Mám tady někde něco, heal přes meč.
The odd thing was, Renato's personal battle was going fairly well. The Ravens immediately in front of him were no quicker or tougher than usual. Where was the power of the core, blasting him off into the abyss? And where was Zenobia? She must be up to something. But whatever it wasn't his problem. Not yet, anyway. It was all going surprisingly well.
Přišlo až moc překvapivě dobře. Oj. Třeba další loď, až pojede okolo. Tak pojďte. No poleďte teda spíš. Nic, žádný heal.
These platforms were great. Renato wanted one for his house.
OK, nazdar kluci, všechno, jo, good, nazdar s bohem a šáteček, jedeme dál. Teď budeme jede finish pomalu. Jo, pojď tentokrát tady na tu velkou vesny.
Soon he'd confront the Emperor. Funny that this whole war had come about because the Emperor feared death. And now it was coming for him. There was some sort of lesson there, wasn't there?
Jseš která? Enter can buff and heal enemies, OK. To máme trofejí najednou. Is going on enchanter. Oh, co to je? Může být císař. Nebo já to mám jít. Stejně umřu.
At last, he came to Zenobia and the Emperor. She was sealing up a kind of squat coffin, banded with lead.
So glad you're here.
Croaked the Emperor.
You will be witness to my final victory.
That's creepy, Dad, said Zenobia. But thank you. Because of your shenanigans, we tested the core. It's really unstable. It could have blown us all up. It could? Asked Renato. Anyway, We already destroyed your secret base, so we don't need a super weapon. We're just going to bury it. Do we, torture you? Or give you a medal? Sometime later, Renato got an invitation to attend the Emperor's ritual sacrifice of his daughter. They took him out of his dungeon cell and gave him all his medals to wear. A little while after that, the lost gods returned, and the sun went black, and the Emperor ate his soul.
OK.
Renato stared at the book. He was still alive. Again. And still only flying away from burning Ubar. Had he lived that adventure? Or only dreamt it? Had he really died? It felt so real, not like a dream at all.
OK, tak mám další příběh.
Oh, he hated that.
Další kombinaci.
But he had made different choices. And he'd lost in a different way. It was the book, wasn't it? Oracles showed you your destiny. But this was showing him different ways he could die miserably. Thanks a bunch, book, he thought. But these were destinies that he did not have to fulfill. But he'd learned another true thing. Zenobia still had feelings for him.
No to jo, ale... Material find Zenobia, attack the outpost, find Zenobia again, okay. Vlastně já jsem tak zblbnul, že to...
But that meant there must be a destiny where he survived and won, right? Otherwise, what was the point? And with that, the book's pages fluttered back once more to the beginning, and the clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Or so a scholar in the mountains had told him. Surely the weapon that banished the lost gods could defeat the Emperor. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Emperor had brought the Sky Ripper pieces up out of ancient burial by his obscene rituals. Could this be where the Iblis stone was hidden? Someone better get it before he does, thought Renato. And also, his old friend Lupino needed rescuing.
Of course,
Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lupino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Renato really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
Já ho můžu zachránit. Víš si na výslech. No. Ale to až někdy jindy, protože dneska už to ukončíme. Je to boží. Ale konec. Ja. Doufám, že to má všechno uložený. Má to autosave, tak. A zítra asi si dáme jako dopolední hodinku dalších možností, tentokrát s tím, aby jsme našli všechno, co a zkusíme udělat zbraň. Víme, že králík je zločinec, kočka nás má ráda a budeme všechno taky přijít nějaké ostatní věci. Ale to nevadí. Jak je tady kolik příběhů? 24 možností, jak to udělat. Tak to zkusíme jak vyplnit. Takže dobrou.